Teenagers stripping down, trying to survive a brutal death by heat stroke, and a now censored scene of a 16-year-old girl getting hosed down and repeatedly hit on by fully grown men? No, this isn't some sketchy tape you'd find in your weird uncle's basement. This is Season 1, Episode 8 of Victorious, Survival of the Hottest. And even the title kind of makes me uncomfortable. When I first saw this episode premiere back in 2010, I remember thinking it was, well, odd. Even as a kid, the scene of Kat getting sprayed with water guns in her bikini top felt a little off to me. And even the other scenes felt weird too. It kind of feels like the hot temperature, which lasts throughout the entire episode, is just a plot device to force the underage cast to show as much skin as possible. But when I finally got around to rewatching this episode on Paramount Plus, I noticed the scene with Kat being hosed down by the group of men was missing. And it turns out Paramount Plus actually removed this scene from the episode because it was seen as too inappropriate. Bro, this pissed me off because it's one thing to admit you're wrong. It's another thing to make retroactive changes to old media without any announcement to the public, basically gaslighting every single person who saw the original episode and now doubts their own sanity because a weird scene they vividly remember is now gone. Also, Matt Bennett, the actor who plays Robbie, recently said this was his favorite episode.
The best episode of Victorious is Survival of the Hottest,
which I find a little disturbing, to say the least. So today we're taking a look back at the uncensored version of this episode in its entirety to expose Nickelodeon and Paramount Plus as the freaks they are. And if you like this video, please be sure to leave us a like and maybe even subscribe. And as always, if you have any other episodes or shows you want me to cover, let me know in the comments. All right, let's dive in. We start with a student hosing down a bunch of other students, which is some subtle foreshadowing for the unacceptable content that comes later. Tori, Robbie, and Beck are eating lunch outside, complaining about the 103 degrees heat. Why not go eat inside then? Surely the school has air conditioning, and Tori and her friends are drinking crystal waters, which is again referenced 2 episodes later in Beck's Big Break, when Tori sneaks onto a film set and tells everyone her name is Crystal Waters.
What's your name?
Oh, I'm Crystal Waters.
Kat and Jade show up and Tori realizes that Jade somehow isn't sweating.
I don't sweat. Everyone sweats.
Not Jade. Jade never sweats.
What do you mean she never sweats? Sweating is gross, so I don't do it.
And yeah, that's not normal. Jade really should see a doctor. I looked it up, and anhydrosis is a rare medical condition causing the body to produce little to no sweat. Sweating is essential for regulating body temperature and preventing overheating. And that can definitely be lethal, especially in the events that occur in this episode. Rex calls Jade cold-blooded, and she retaliates by shooting a fat load of sunscreen on his face, which, fun fact, actually damaged the puppet's paint permanently, leaving this version of Rex completely unusable. Then Andre shows up and tells everyone about his newest side hustle.
I set up a kiddie pool over there and I'm charging people $5 for 5 minutes. Sinjin, you got 3 more minutes.
Okay.
And I'm curious why Sinjin just so happened to have a swimsuit with him at school. Robbie checks the weather on his giant-ass Pear Pad XL and notices it's only 91 degrees in Venice Beach. So they all decide to take Beck's RV up to Venice Beach on Saturday to chill out. And just as they're making their plans, Trina walks by and overhears them and invites herself to the beach expedition as well. Classic. Just then, Tori notices that Sinjin is face down, actively drowning in the kiddie pool. Tori and Robbie run over to help, and by the time they get to him, Sinjin is straight up unconscious.
It's cool. You still got 2 minutes left.
So, Andre, Jade, Beck, and Kat were all okay with letting Sinjin die right in front of them. Robbie recommends that Tori gives Sinjin mouth-to-mouth, and her response is to drop him back into the pool and leave him for dead. Robbie, if it means that much to you, why don't you give him mouth-to-mouth, eh? Cut to the crew arriving at Venice Beach, and as soon as they get there, Kat runs off to use the bathroom. Hang on a second. I thought Beck lives in this RV thing.
Beck, this RV is so cool.
Oh, thanks.
And you, live in this?
Yeah, well, parked in my parents' driveway.
You're telling me he has to leave and go into his parents' house whenever he wants to piss? It's a bit ridiculous. Everyone else is still in the RV, getting ready to hit the beach, when Beck gives everyone some lore about where the RV came from originally.
How come all these windows are tinted so dark?
Oh, because my dad bought it from a rapper.
All the windows are made of bulletproof glass.
What rapper? Fat Biscuit.
Andre points out that it's starting to get hot, so they all try to bounce, but when Beck tries to open the door, it won't budge. It's then revealed that a family parked their extra-large RV mere inches from Beck's, effectively trapping the entire crew, besides Kat, inside of the RV. Also, I got a quick tangent I have to make. This beach did not look like Venice Beach to me. It is in fact Huntington Beach, which is 43 miles from Venice Beach. It is not important to the plot in any way for it to have taken place at Venice Beach. Why did they make it a point to say so many times that they're at Venice Beach?
Hey, check Venice Beach.
And then show a picture of Huntington Beach. Robbie asked someone to at least open a window.
Will somebody open a window?
The windows are bulletproof. They don't open.
Oh, thanks a lot, Fat Biscuit.
And honestly, I'm not buying it. Most of the time, bulletproof windows can be cracked open for ventilation purposes. Also, why do the windows have fucking handles on them if they're not meant to be opened? What? Everyone starts getting their cocks in a twist, and Andre tells them to all just relax.
Kat just went to the bathroom. She's gonna be back in a few minutes. Then she can start Beck's truck and then pull us forward so we can get out.
Cut to Kat walking back from the bathroom when she gets distracted by a group of guys who all want to hang out with her. And I got a few problems with this scene right here. First of all, why are all the guys hanging out in the parking lot for the beach instead of on the actual beach? Asphalt is known to make temperatures feel significantly hotter than normal. Why the hell would you come to visit the beach on a hot day just to post up in the goddamn parking lot? Also, they're taking up 2 parking spots with their chair set up, and their car is parked fucking sideways. Get their asses out of here. Back in Beck's RV, everyone is starting to stress out now that it's been over 20 minutes since Kat went to pee. They try to call her, but realize they don't have any cell service. Beck then gives everyone another kick to the testes by revealing that there's no AC unless the truck attached to the trailer is running. So, no bathroom and no air conditioning? Hell, there's not even running water here. It makes no sense that Beck would be able to live in this thing full time with those stipulations. Robbie points out that it's already 102 degrees inside the RV, and they all realize they don't even have any water with them in the trailer. And this situation is becoming more deadly by the minute. This is an actual emergency, and they should really crank the door the 1 inch that it can open and scream outside for help. They all start screaming Kat's name in agony, and this brings us to the scene that has been now censored by Paramount Plus. In the OG episode, it cuts to Kat, now in her bikini top, being hosed down in the parking lot by the 4 boys she just met. Okay, Ariana Grande was 16 at the time they filmed this scene, and the main beach boy in this scene was 24 years old at the time of filming. Having an underage girl, yeah, a minor, stripped down to a bikini being sprayed down with water by these grown-ass men is already extremely inappropriate. And Kat shimmying, it just makes things even more uncomfortable. But I think the part that upsets me the most is picturing Dirty Dan a few feet away just off camera. Disgusting, upsetting, and I'm so sorry to little underage Ariana Grande. So here's what the episode looks like on Paramount Plus. I'm not impressed at all with their censorship because to me, it's just these losers admitting guilt and admitting that they knew it was wrong all along. Suck a fat one, Paramount Plus. All right, let's get back on track. Let's check in with the slowly dying crew and see how hot it is in the RV right now.
How hot is it in here now?
107 degrees.
Heat stroke begins when the core body temperature reaches about 104 degrees, and 107 degrees is lethal. Again, these kids are about to fucking die of heat stroke. This is not a funny plot of a sitcom. This is a life or death situation that belongs on CSI. Tori suddenly remembers that she brought a battery-powered fan that ends up being the size of a micro penis.
Oh, stop.
That's it?
That's your fan?
It's not big.
It's an embarrassment.
The entire crew gathers around the tiny-ass fan, and this scene pisses me off because tiny fans like this don't usually oscillate. They all wonder where the hell Kat is, and we cut to Kat getting some shaved ice with the boys. Sorry, with the men. And you know why they're giving her shaved ice instead of a beer? Because she's still 5 years too young to have an alcoholic beverage. I mean, for God's sake, she's not even old enough to see an R-rated movie yet, but here they are, shamelessly sexualizing her non-stop. Back in the trailer, Tori's tiny fan finally dies, and honestly, at this point, they should all be fucking dead on the floor, shriveled up and rotting. They're trapped in what is essentially a giant 107 degrees oven, and it's being played for laughs. Whatever. Tori says they have to find something to drink, and Beck recommends his dirty fish tank that he's never cleaned once. Suddenly, Tori notices Trina with her head deep in her bag.
Why was your head in your bag? It's cool in there. I heard you swallow. Give me the bag. No!
Tori fights with Trina over the bag, and honestly, all this physical movement can only be speeding up their heat exhaustion. But once Tori finally gets the bag, she realizes that Trina already drank all of the water in her secret water bottle, except for one sip. Meanwhile, Kat is spinning some clay on a pottery wheel. Is that really a beach activity? When the 24-year-old man sits behind her and begins to help her with the clay in a very suggestive way. In fact, the shot stays on a close-up of the two actors finger fucking each other's hands for at least 8 seconds straight. Unacceptable. Back in the RV, everyone tries to share one tongue dip in the final cap full of water, which feels like some sick kind of weird perverted thing, I don't know. But once Robbie dips his tongue in, he can't hold back and he throws the entire cap into his fat gob. After Robbie's disrespect, Jade starts sweating for the first time in her life, which sends her into a downward spiral. And honestly, this is actually a miracle. Her rare medical condition cured itself right in her time of need. Meanwhile, Kat finishes her clay pot and is finally about to go back to her friends when the grown men convince her to stay a bit longer.
You can't leave now. Paul just made tuna tartare.
We caught the tuna this morning.
I don't understand how these fuckers made tuna tartare from scratch in a parking lot, but whatever. Back at the trailer, Jade, who was also 16 at the time of filming this, is now stripped down to just her bikini. In fact, almost every character has been getting subtly more naked as the episode goes on. And sure, you can argue it's for the plot, but I know who wrote that plot, and I know why. Don't fool yourselves. Robbie decides enough is enough and dunks his head into the dirty fish water to drink some of it. Naturally, he immediately yaks into Trina's bag. And I want to throw up because Trina had some of the vomit splash on her when she threw the bag away in disgust. The outlook is grim at this point. They should all probably be dead already, so every second is a gift. And what does the crew decide to do with their final moments? They all decide to sing the victorious theme song to pass the time.
Not a fantasy. Just remember me when it turns out right.
Like, bro, I just heard the fucking theme song when I started the episode like 20 minutes ago. I don't need to hear a shitty rendition of the same exact song, just done even worse, by singers who are barely alive. Finally, Kat shows up and casually opens the door to the RV, and it's hilarious because it implies the door was unblocked for who knows how long. Did no one think to try to open the door every couple minutes to see if it was still blocked? Even just peek behind the curtains of the windows to see if the RV had moved? Idiots. All of them. Everyone sprints out of the death trap as quickly as they can and celebrates somehow not roasting to death. They all head out to the beach to enjoy what little time they have left in the day, and after they run off, Fat Biscuit and his crew walk by and recognize their old trailer.
We got some times in there. Don't talk about it.
Are they implying they did some illegal shit in there? And that was definitely a wild take on a stuck episode if I've ever seen one. If you've seen some of my other videos, you'll know I'm usually a big fan of these types of episodes. Drake and Josh have a couple really iconic stuck episodes, and some of them, like Treehouse, are comedic masterpieces. But this one, I'm sorry, I just couldn't get behind it. If we're being real, the entire episode had sort of weird undertones. 16-year-old Kat flirting and getting hosed down in her bikini by 4 men she just met. Jade, Beck, and Robbie getting more and more naked as the episode goes on. Kat getting her hands fondled by a 24-year-old man while crafting some fucking pottery. It's all super uncomfortable when you keep in mind that these kids are barely old enough to have driver's licenses in real life. I just don't like it, and it makes me feel a tiny bit weird. Not to mention the looming threat of death by heat stroke for the entire main cast of the series is absolutely insane. And again, Drake and Josh kind of do this too with Helicopter, but I think the difference is that felt so over the top and silly that it was just pure comedy. But this feels scary, like in an awkward, that could happen in real life kind of way. And I think for me, it all just feels a little more unpleasant because of that. Plus, I start to feel kind of hot and uncomfortable and sweaty whenever I watch this one, like it infects my brain with a heat stroke vibe or something. And I kind of hate saying that I don't like this one, because I don't just want to shit on Victorious. I used to watch this show all the time as a kid, and I know a lot of you guys like it too. But if I'm being dead honest, I just didn't laugh very much during this episode. I more so felt uneasy and almost like I shouldn't be watching it. And to be fair, I don't think all episodes of Victorious are this way. Some of them still hold up and some of them are still pretty banger, but this one sadly just has too much of Dirty Dan's fantasies in it, and that honestly sucks. But enough of me yapping. What do you guys think? Do you like seeing the entire Victorious crew baked to death in a small metal trailer, or did you not really get into this one? Let me know in the comments and let's kick it. And of course, I have to give a rock solid jackrabbit of a shout out to the channel and Patreon members. I love you guys with all my heart, and it's as simple as that. I got another sick trivia question coming your way as well. What famous musician has unreleased songs frequently used as background music in Victorious? If no Patreon or channel members get it right, I'll pick the first subscriber in the comments to get it right, and you'll get a shout out next week. And if you stuck around this long, maybe consider subscribing and checking out my other videos. And you know, maybe go for a nice long walk this week, if you're able to. It'll be good for you. All right, thanks for listening.